money, you rent it. Word.
Whoa, step in the spot and watch how they panic. Yeah, we the duo, you know we dynamic. When we outside, we be stopping the.
What's up, y'all? This is Ed Newbins. I'm at Forest Sports Performance in Bellevue, Washington. I'm here going behind the scenes, showing me some of the young athletes that he trains, a couple of his kids, and one of my friend's sons. And so Forest Sports Performance is all about training athletes. They work with student athletes, and they work with even pro athletes. And they're an elite performance training center. And yeah, just want to see what they've been up to, see how they've grown and moved into different facilities. And so I'm here to do an interview with Damon. He's always been a friend of mine. He's always supported, his family supported my Motivated Life apparel line when it first came out. And so now I'm back with Motivated Life TV, giving you some more footage on what is happening in the world of Forest Sports Performance and Damon Daniels. All right, thanks. Bye. What's up, man?
What's up? What's going on?
Nothing much, man. I like the digs.
Welcome to FSP.
So we're at Forest Sports Performance in Bellevue, Washington. I haven't been here in about, what, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, it's been a while.
So last time I think I was here, you guys had the girls from Lincoln High School.
That's right.
You were training them,
yeah.
And they were on their way to try to make it to state.
Yeah.
They didn't make it all the way, but they really competed really hard. I got to see all the work they did from behind the scenes, what you were doing with them.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, walk us through this new facility.
Yeah. So welcome to the new spot. It's double the size that we had before. Really dedicated a lot of this to the 7-on-7 program and the kids that have come through here. You can tell we started this about 2014, but in 2015 we won the first national championship. Continue to grow the program year after year, winning championships, producing All-Americans and guys that are going to the league today. 2017 had a really talented class. Same as 2018. Many kids are still in the gym right now, in college, going into their junior and senior years, getting ready to go to the National Football League. We produce multiple U.S. Army All-Americans. You can go to this next wall. You'll see how multiple kids on here that are not on here now that will be in the future, but they played in last year's All-American game.
No, what's the 7-on-7? Is that something that was launched here, or is that like a national thing?
Yeah, it's a national thing. It's more like two-hand touch football,
okay.
More passing only. Some tournaments have a little bit of run. You can run one time, maybe rush one time, but it's really showing a different speed of the game, letting kids play football kind of year-round. What we do a lot differently, right? We don't just play 7-on-7. We really emphasize on the training component, right? Emphasize on the body because we're trying to get the kids ready for their fall high school years,
okay.
Not necessarily what they do on 7-on-7. So it's more about preparing them for high school football, giving them a bond with some kids that they probably wouldn't have from around the country, from around the state. And then we travel nationally. We don't just play teams around here locally. We like to go across the country, highlight the talent that Washington has.
Okay.
We typically pick up a couple kids from out of state because they want to play with us. They know how good we are. Coaching's really good. We got strong coaches that have played, some professionally, some all of them collegiately. Okay. And they're really good men, really good mentors, right? Guys that you want to have your kids around, right? So we take a lot of pride in that. If something not's working out from a coaching standpoint, we kind of make some changes, right? But we really want people that these kids can look up to, both personally and professionally.
Okay. Yeah. You mentioned earlier, I saw one of the young kids what's the earliest that they can kind of join the program?
Well, we have kids training here at 7 and 8, right? Or 5 and 6, right? We have a youth speed and agility, 5, 6-year-olds in here. My little 7-year-olds in here. Tracy has his kids in here, and they're really, doing lots of core movements, core strength, and body movements, and we don't lift any weights when you're that young, but we do a lot of stuff to work on speed, flexibility, and core.
Very nice.
Here's U.S. Army All-Americans. Like I said, there's going to be multiple other kids on this wall over here in the next 6 months as we put a new banner up for them. This is a girl pretty much dedicated to a lot of the female athletes that we train. Obviously, this is a small list. There's so many more, but we've kind of highlighted some of these individuals that have gone on and played in the collegiate level. Okay. Obviously, we've got a lot of our NFL guys in here that support the program. They come in here to train, to get their bodies right, and that's just a small list. When you go out in the gym, you see more and more jerseys on the wall. Here's our recovery center. We have a partnership with Sports Physical Therapy, so they have a unit here where they help our athletes. They also have their own individual clients that come in to work on their physical therapy. We allow them and our athletes to come in here and do recovery. There's Normatec treatments. We have soft tissue treatment, and then they can also make an appointment if they have an injury with SPT and take care of their bodies that way. Then we got a sauna. Kids, people come in here, relax, and take a lot of pride in taking care of your body. We have another partner of FSP is Higa Fit. Higa Fit has a Pilates. She also has individual classes that she runs in the gym, but she also has a Pilates studio in here.
Okay.
Which she does a great job of working with our athletes as well as the NFL players too.
Also, the NFL does Pilates also is like good for core and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
They really like working with her. She's really fantastic, amazing, does a lot of video workouts right now, virtual workouts, because obviously because COVID you can't really get in here, but she's really a great person in the community, so want to plug Higa Fit. Here is the Miles Jack room. Okay, it's the players lounge, so come on in. And this is for at the end of the workout, you want to get some Normatec, you want to play some Xbox, you want to relax with your friends. This room is dedicated by Miles Jack. Tracy worked with Miles all throughout high school and even when in junior high, really a big mentor for him. He comes back in the off season, trains here before going back to camp, and is really a big supporter of what we do here.
Now, for those that are not familiar with Miles Jack, who's that?
Miles Jack is a guy that went to Bellevue High School. He helped Bellevue to multiple state championships, the first ever national championship. He's a NFL linebacker right now, playing for Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville Jaguars, right? And from the area, right? From the area, and whenever he's here, he comes back. And really gives back to kids here in the community.
Very cool. Very nice.
Cool.
All right.
Let's come on upstairs. You come upstairs, you got the executive offices, sales desk, and operations team. Sorry, it's kind of dark in here. But there's my office here. So that's my office. Nothing special in my office. So yeah, if you look, so this is interesting because this is that 2020 7-on-7 team that we talked about. Many of them, some of the kids are no longer on that team. But if you look at this, you have multiple USA Army All-Americans on this team.
Wow.
1, 2, 3. You have multiple Division I athletes going to college this year.
Wow.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of these.
That's crazy.
That are all going D1.
Dude, that's crazy. That's like the percentages on that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And this is an older team. This is an older team.
Okay.
But there are multiple USA Army All-Americans. There's at least 1, 2, 3, 4 times 4. So if there's 40 kids on here, there's probably 30 kids on here that are playing college football right now, and
that's
at the
amazing.
Division I level. Okay, at the most. Some of these guys are younger, still in high school, and just finishing their. He's still in high school, right? So it's it's a kind of pretty good mix.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of kids. There's about definitely 30 kids on this list right here that are playing Division I college football right now.
What I find interesting in this too, I'm looking at just the color spectrum. You have a lot of diversity even in that.
Yeah.
The backgrounds in that. So where are the kids coming from? They're all just from all over the state or Seattle area, Bellevue area?
They're pretty much from all over the state. We have kids, from Spokane, some kids from Vancouver, a couple kids from Portland.
Okay.
But generally, they're coming from our greater Puget Sound area. But like I said, we are like the #1 team in the nation, #1 program in the nation. Right? There's lots of teams out there that are good, but we're the #1 program in the nation. What we do is we program, right? We program with the training, program with the mentorship, we program with putting them around good people, other professionals, so that they can have something to shoot for. It's attainable, right?
Okay.
Right. So I think this is what we do, something different than
right.
what other places do.
Very good, very nice.
This kitchenette. Sorry, this is we'll take you through the storage room real quick.
All right.
So come in here, man. This is these next two rooms are really they get to the core of what why I got involved with FSP, right? It's the mentorship. It's how to get kids to do the right things academically and professionally. And so what we did is when we moved, before we moved, we had study table for our 7-on-7 people, 7-on-7 kids. And if you don't have a 3.0, then you need to be going to study table. And so we have.
Say that again. What's the GPA?
3.0.
No, not 2.5.
That's a 3.0.
There we
Gotta
go
go to study table.
There we go.
And actually, matter of fact, we made it 2.8 this year.
Okay.
If 2.8 and less,
Gotcha.
you got to go to study table.
Gotcha.
And we have an academic coordinator that's that's a teacher in the community, and she gives back so much to help these kids, like just tirelessly every weekend, driving from up north and coming down here to help kids a couple times a week. 3 times a week.
Wow.
And taking phone calls, working with their parents, and really to make sure that the kids that we have in this program, if they want to play college football and can get a college scholarship, that they're eligible to get it, right? A lot of times it doesn't happen. You get a good athlete, great on the field, but you have less than a 2-point GPA and you're not able to, realize the dreams that you're trying to achieve.
Right.
So we have a lot of good people that support the program, that have invested. Last year we tried a pilot with SAT prep.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot of takers, had about 4 or 5. The review of it was okay, but I think it's hard because a lot of schools offer SAT prep already. So I think we need to try to balance that a little bit. But so we have a lot of support from donors that want to give that donate computers and also their time. It's really valuable. Okay, so they can come in and use the computers. They can come in and do their homework, and we monitor their missing assignments and all that type of stuff, which is amazing. This room, come up here. This is the observation deck, so most of the parents sit up here, watch their kids train, get some refreshments, hang out.
Nice.
We have lots of college coaches come through, so sometimes they'll be here just watching, right, and just looking for the top talent.
So they come here sometimes just to spot out stuff.
That's right.
See what's going on.
That's right. We've got the top talent in the country.
Wow.
As you saw a little bit earlier, right? You got some of the top kids in the nation right here. Buddha is another person that Tracy has mentored and worked with throughout the years.
Okay.
So this is the Buddha Baker Conference Room and Education Center.
Nice.
So we have a lot of meetings here. Typically study tables done in this room. We probably have about 30 kids at study table, right? So we need as much space as we can have. we have some computers here that if they need to use that and they don't have a computer, they can certainly work here. And then we also had a math tutor last year that did really well. I mean, he was here working with the kids at study table, but he also made some individual appointments to go to kids' homes and work with them on a one-on-one basis. So that was really valuable. Was the cost to that family on their own, but at least it was a good person that they already knew and they were working with at study table that they could just go home and continue that work.
Okay.
This next year we'll be implementing both math, Spanish, and a science tutor. Okay. Because obviously kids have some troubles in those subjects, and we start study table really kind of in the 9th grade. Like it's a 9th grade thing. It's like ninth graders have mandatory study table. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your GPA is. If your first semester and you get a 3.5, you can come off study table. I'm okay with that. But if you're struggling, we want to keep you on there so that you don't dig yourself a hole your freshman year. And we have a lot of kids that have dug themselves holes their freshman year. Come your senior year, you really got to push and fight to get that great GPA in order to get what you want. Right?
Yeah, actually I did that in college, man. I went to Central Washington. I was 17 when I graduated, and the thing with me, I was smart, but I didn't have the work ethic necessarily, or I didn't understand what it's going to be to make it and be a student athlete in college.
Sure.
I didn't have that background, didn't have it in my family.
Yeah.
So it was a challenge,
Yeah.
and to the point where basketball wasn't fun.
Sure.
Because I was like, okay, I already dug myself a hole my freshman year.
Yeah.
The school wasn't the best place for me. I didn't have the best resources for me.
Right.
So I ended up leaving there to find some other opportunity.
Yeah.
Bounced around community college for a few years, and then finally clicked in my head, I want to go to business school UW. Miraculously, I turned myself around, got my grades up.
Yeah.
But if I go backwards into my high school time frame, I had a great coach, Coach Comer, but we didn't have the necessary, not because of him, but the school infrastructure wasn't there for us to study for SATs. I had All-American football players with me. I wasn't a football player, I was a basketball player. But we didn't have that foundation. We didn't have anything like Ford Sports Performance at all.
Like this.
So,
and I equate that to the same thing for myself.
Yeah.
Like I went to college. I had really decent grades, like a 3.3 in high school. Really good grades, from 9th grade to 10th. But as I got to 10th and 11th and 12th, I started to slack off.
That's why I fell off.
And then I went to college. My very first semester, man, I got a 0.0.
Oh, we're in the same boat. I was like,
I got a 0.0. Only class I passed was English, and it was because I loved it. I could write, and I just never went to class. It wasn't me that I was I wasn't smart enough. I couldn't do it. I just never went to class. I didn't have that, and the coaches just wanted you to be eligible. They didn't really care. I wouldn't say they didn't care, but there just wasn't emphasis on your development as a professional later on in life. The moment, it was about that moment in your football moment, right? And it's nothing. I mean, no knock against them. It's just it's the fact of being a college coach, right? And your job is on the line all the time, right? So I struggled in college, and then eventually I lost my scholarship because I never took it seriously enough. Then, after all of those trials and failures, I ended up leaving, going to play professionally in Europe, coming back home, trying to find a job, found a job selling copiers, being really successful, couldn't progress because I didn't have my degree. So then I went back to school. I said, forget it. I dropped everything, went back to Idaho, made the dean's list, and then graduated in 1 year. Then from there, went on about my professional career, and really started to do my MBA. Didn't finish it because I was working at Boeing, and then I left Boeing. But at least I continued to drive from an educational level. And then when I got into the medical career, there's really no stopping with how you learn. You have to learn. I've had to learn anatomy and physiology, which I never thought I could learn. I had to learn how to sell clinically from to a physician who's way smarter than me. But if I can clinically show the benefit of a product versus another in an elaborate way, then I can win the sale, and I can build a relationship with people and help patients, So so for the last 20 years, I've been able to use some of this football stuff that I've learned, right, and apply it in the medical field, and do really well there.
So I don't even have to ask you the question, because I always think about how do you live a motivated life, and you really just kind of hit it on the head. It's about going through ups and downs, but not giving up, being able to translate whatever your experience is to help other people, inspire them, and then keep it pushing, you know, and keep on growing and always learning.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly it. I mean, in my profession, the better educated you are, the better you're going to be at your job. And I'm not sure if it's like that in every role, but I know that in the medical field, the learning never stops, right? Because there's just so much to know, right? If you're dealing with surgical procedures, if you're dealing with a certain type of technology, right? There's so much to know what that technology can do and benefit that physician and the patient. So it's a constant level of learning. I've been at some great companies where the training is really fantastic, where you're doing labs on inanimate labs, you're doing dry labs, and you're actually taking physicians, walking them through procedures, right? And that's really valuable. You learn so much, right? So I really think kids should get into the medical field. I've been encouraging a lot of kids to get into the medical field because, man, it's not going away. It's not going away, and there's always something new. There's always great products out there. There's good companies out there, and they're looking for athletes. They're looking for people that know how to work in a team, know what hard work is about, know how to work together and with one common goal, right? So these companies thrive on young professional athletes that have that collegiate experience that can come back and help these organizations out.
See, that's interesting, because I know, I got friends that are doctors and dentists and lawyers, but to be in the medical profession and not be the doctor per se, or the nurse or whoever, I didn't even think about that as an opportunity, because we don't hear about that, so.
Yeah, exactly. It's a huge opportunity. I mean, there's a lot of different roles. I mean, they don't have to necessarily be in sales, but they could be in marketing, they could be on a clinical side. There's lots of different avenues I think young people can go through if they decide that the medical field is their vision, is their mission, their path. And it's hard, right? Because sometimes you have to get in surgery. In my role, it'd be in surgery, and you can't handle surgery, then you might not want to be in it, right? But
can't be passing out in there.
Can't be passing out in OR, right? Can't be passing out in OR. But I think the other piece too, it's allowed me to help so many other people that I never thought I could. People ask me for medical advice. Hey, I have this going on. What do you think I should do? And I'm like, okay, well, who's doing it? Who's doing the procedure? And I might say, nah, you might want to go to this person because they have more experience. Let me connect you with them.
Wow,
right?
okay.
Let me give you some data. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you the story right now. There's a lady at the QFC, right, has uterine cancer. She saw me. I'm in scrubs a lot. She's like, "Oh, you're in scrubs. Are you a doctor?" I was like, "No, I sell medical devices." She goes, "Oh," and she told me the story about how she has cancer. And I was like, "Oh, are you getting it done?" She's having a hysterectomy. Are you getting it done robotically? And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Who's doing it?" And she told me the physician. She told me the physician. And I said, "Oh, I know him. Tell him I said hi."
Oh, wow.
So she goes and tell him I said hi. The next day I see her, and she's like, "Oh my God." He gave me a hug, and she said, "Tell Damon I said hello, and I miss him." Right? And then I gave her some literature, and her procedure was put off because of COVID-19. But I gave her literature for her to study, and she had a procedure done 2 weeks ago, and she's doing amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
She's doing amazing. But
wow.
I gave her lots of information for her to be kind of prepared for everything that I gave her. She said, "Man, this is exactly what you said was going to happen." And you don't really have that opportunity if you're not in the industry, right? You don't really know physicians. You kind of just go with what people tell you to do, and just kind of go along with it. I've always challenged them. I've always done the research myself, especially being in the field. Done the research myself, and if I have something I didn't agree with, then I'm gonna talk to the physician about it, right? Especially if it's one of my loved ones or my family members.
Right. Yeah. Especially.
I'm definitely going to do that, and I encourage others to do that too. Something that you don't feel comfortable with, you have questions, make sure you ask the physician.
All right, man. Well, we got a lot of information. I love the stories. I love what you guys are doing with the community and the young kids, the student athletes, the pros. It sounds like you guys are doing a lot in the community. How can the community support you guys? You mentioned like mentors. You mentioned if somebody wanted to try to give back and volunteer, do you guys have opportunities for that?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Throughout the year, we have mentor workshops. I think we had 3 last year. So we had very successful people come in, talk to the kids, the group of kids that wanted to be a part of that, and then in fact, somebody offered them some internships for this next year.
That's nice,
which is awesome. So we had about 13 kids attend. This individual offered some internships at all 13 if they decide to do it,
nice.
which is great. So yes, I encourage people to come. Check out the facility. Call me if you want to mentor some kids and be involved. We're happy. Always looking for that. Always looking.
All right, man. Okay, we're going to wrap it up, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.